What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Paranormal Rush Hour. I'm your host, Ryan Rush, and I've got an email for you guys today. Man, this one is wild. It's pretty cool, though, because, I mean, it's one of the craziest experiences I've ever heard of. And, when I say crazy, I don't mean that as like an insult to anyone. It's just a word that I use often to describe events like this, I guess. But anyway, I know I have a lot of new people watching now, and I just want you guys to understand that I'm not trying to put anybody down at all. And I hold a neutral stance on these emails. It's not that I don't believe you or do believe you or whatever. I just, I'm one of those people that if I wasn't there and I didn't see it myself, I can't know 100%, if this is true or not. So that's the way I do it. And that's the way I expect everybody else to be too. I'm still interested in all of this nonetheless. And everything that everybody's experienced, I think about it and I assess it and when I hear about it. And that's just the way it is with me. I don't discredit anybody, though, because I don't know. I've seen things that people wouldn't believe, that people don't believe. I'm sorry, I know what I saw. And sometimes that has to be good enough. For me, it is. Anyway, all right, let's get to this because it's a little lengthy, but it's wild, man. This is a wild video, email. And I mean, you guys will see as soon as I shut up and read it. You'll see. All right. Hey, Rush, new subscriber here. And man, I have to tell you that I am really into your show. I have shared a lot of your videos this week too. I really appreciate that. Now, the real reason I decided to write you is to share my paranormal experience with you. I have seen probably every cryptid creature that comes into our world, LOL, and this is how it happened. Back when I was a kid, we lived in rural Ohio. The winters really sucked, and as soon as the weather started to warm up, I was outside as much as possible. When I was around 12 years old, I was in the woods that connected to a cattle field right by our home. This was a really dense spot of woods, and I had been clearing my way into them every day for a week or a little more. I finally got to the center of them, the best I could tell, and it opened up a lot. I was surprised by this because you would not expect to see a clearing if you knew how dense it was around it. Me being a kid, I decided it was a great place to start building my dream fort. I needed some of my dad's tools, preferably the ones I hoped he would never miss, so I headed back to our place to fetch them. I grabbed a bag loaded with my father's tools and went back. As I got close to the clearing, I heard a noise but couldn't tell where it came from. It sounded like it was all around me when it happened, and it was not like anything I'd ever heard then or heard since. I can't tell you it did not put me a little on edge, but I was a kid and not concerned enough to stop. I got to the trail that I had cleared that led me to the open area and over the tops of the bushes and dense leaves that I couldn't see over or through because of my lack of height at that age. I noticed some kind of light coming over them. I knew it was something really bright because this was during the afternoon and could not begin to imagine what could be shining that bright. It also looked to be flickering a little bit. I slowly walked to the clearing, and what I saw is still the most insane thing I could have ever seen. I'm not kidding about this at all, and trust me when I tell you that I totally understand how unbelievable this sounds. LOL. I saw a portal that was opened up right there in the middle of the clearing. It was a pulsing light that was bright off-white color, with a rose-colored swirl mixed in it. I stood there watching, just totally amazed by this, and at the same time scared to death. Then I see something come out of it. This was a huge hair-covered creature that looked like a Bigfoot, and I think it was. It walked out of the light, but it did not come from behind it, As a kid, I could not make sense of this. It was not until I got older that I realized I had seen a portal. The Bigfoot creature walked out without stopping at all, like it was not fazed one bit by any of this. It had brown hair and black-looking skin on its hands and feet. I only saw a side profile of the face and did not get much detail from it, but the skin color matched the hands and feet. It continued on into the forest without ever slowing down from its original walking speed. As it got out of my sight, I saw these orb-looking lights start flying out of the portal. I still do not know what these were, but there had to be a dozen or more. Then I saw these small creatures start coming out of it. I still can't identify these, but they looked like things with fox heads covered in a mixture of red, brown, and black hair that walked on two legs like us, but were no more than 2 feet tall. There were probably 5 or 6 of them that came out at the same time. The weirdest thing about those was they were wearing shorts that looked like some kind of beige burlap material that was all frayed at the ends. Then I saw another creature follow behind them, and this thing was about my height at my age then. I guess around 4.5 feet approximately. And it was also hair covered, but it had a face like a pig, without a snout going to the nose, and 2 horns coming out of the head. It also had black hair all over it. I still have no idea what this was either. The thing that finally got me to leave was when I looked over in my direction and I saw it had bright green glowing eyes. It kept walking in the direction of the other things, and once I knew it was out of sight, I booked it out of there, leaving my bag with my dad's tools. I wanted to tell someone so badly, but I knew nobody would believe it without seeing it, and I did not want to go back alone to retrieve my dad's tools. So I waited a couple of days and told my big brother, who was 14 at the time. He did not believe me, but he did agree to go back there with me to get the bag of tools. We waited until the exact time it was when I saw it, because I thought maybe it was on a timer or would only open at a certain time, and we went out there. We got as far away as I was the first time. I did not see any lights or hear any sounds, and when I say that, I mean there was nothing, no noise at all. Dead silent. My brother actually said something about it being so quiet out there. Then he went to light up a cigarette, since we were away from all adults out there, and at that time he thought he was the coolest thing walking, and right as he struck the lighter, we saw a flash that looked like blue lightning and heard a sound like a whip cracking. He really thought lightning had just struck a tree, because it was an overcast day, and said, "Whoa, what the hell was that?" Or what the hell, I just knew it was not. I'm sorry, that was. Okay. Whoa, what the hell? I just knew it was not lightning, and quickly told him to shut up, in case these things I had seen before were going to come back. I told him to keep his mouth shut, because it was happening again. Normally, he would argue with a command like that coming from me, but he was getting freaked out also. The bag of tools was gone. That was weird to me, because we knew nobody was coming out there walking around in those crazy dense woods to find them. Anyhow, we saw another flash, minus the whip sound, and then another one straight after it that stayed lit. There was a bright electric blue glow coming over the bushes, so we took a couple of steps to where we could get a view of the clearing, and there it was. The same swirling portal that I saw, except it was blue, all different shades of blue swirling around. I looked at my brother, who was as wide-eyed as a person could be, just staring at it in shock with his mouth wide open, jaw on the ground, all that. The next thing we saw was just downright incredible, though. Right as I looked back at the swirling portal, a gigantic flying creature that looked identical to a flying dinosaur, like a pteranodon, came tearing out of it and flew directly over our heads. The best I could tell, it was a dark gray color. It flew way, way up and out of sight. My brother did not say a word and just took off running. I followed him so I wouldn't be left out there alone. Thank goodness for big brothers, LOL. And we did not stop running until we got to our barn. My brother stopped and was out of breath, and my comment to him about smoking did not even get a response. I knew he was as shaken up as I was. Once he could talk again, he said, "What in the F was that?" Followed by, "You were not kidding, were you?" I said, "No, I was not." He also knew nobody would believe what we saw, but it felt reassuring to us both that we had both seen this stuff now. The next day, my dad asked me if I knew why a bag of his tools was sitting in the yard by the barn. I came clean and told him I borrowed them to build a fort. Then he asked me why I left them in the yard, and I had to keep everyone thinking I still had my sanity, and I made up some crap about Mom calling me in, and so I set it by the barn real quick and forgot to put them back. He gave me the usual dad talk about borrowing them without asking, and that was that. To this day, I still haven't got the foggiest idea about how they got there. As far as people go, I was alone, and I seriously just can't figure that one of those creatures would have done it. Anyway, I wanted to share this and let everyone know that it's all real. I'm like you in the way that I think about it because I know I would not totally believe my own story if I had not lived it. I still just have to put it out there, though. Thank you, Rush. No name. So, take it for what it is. I mean, that's wild, though. That was pretty cool. I've never seen anything like any of that except a Bigfoot. That's nothing in an orb. I've seen an orb. I did see an orb with my naked eyes, straight up, just appeared and floated toward me one night, and then it was gone. And I found a picture that looked exactly like what I saw too, not long ago. I randomly ran across it on, I think it was Coast to Coast's website. I had some orb show or something, and I ran across it, and it looked just like, it was like some woman that takes orb pictures. She's got a YouTube page too. It was pretty cool. Anyway. Yeah, so everybody, let me know what you think about that. It's wild, and it got wilder, It was just like one of those stories. So, but I can't say it didn't happen. I wasn't there. I can't say it did for sure, of course, but I can't say it didn't. And it seems like this guy understood how that is, and that's why I mentioned that earlier anyway. But, all right, you guys let me know what you think about it, and I'll be back with you really soon with another show. And I hope everybody stays safe and stays happy these days. All right. I'll see you guys later. Take it easy.